My guest today is KELSI Davies. She is an actress, creator, dancer, singer, and psychic medium. She was a featured creator and panelist at this year's VidCon and previously participated as a panelist at Playlist Live. She's appeared on the Travel Channel's show Paranormal on Camera, and she co-created the mobile app called KELSI Davies Haunt Escape. The app has great reviews and earned a near perfect 5-star rating. Be sure to check out the full description on the Apple App Store. In the world of social media, KELSI has emerged as a genuine force of nature. She has amassed a dedicated fan base of Kelcats across diverse platforms thanks to her unique paranormal content, including an Instagram with 288,000 followers, TikTok with 155 million likes and over 5 million followers, as well as a YouTube with over 2 million subscribers. If that's not enough, KELSI is an amazing musician, and her singles Done, Darker, and Heartbeats are available now on all streaming platforms. Her latest single, September 10th, is a deeply personal song that focuses on finding strength to escape negative cycles and taking one's power back. Finally, KELSI is a burgeoning new talent as an actor. We recently met on set for a crazy, creepy new horror short film by writer-director Blair Bathory called Ram, and co-starring Emma Raimi and Elizabeth Yu. KELSI, it is nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you and see you again.
Your father is Perry Davies, and I believe your mother's name is Kim. You were born in Denver, Colorado, and moved with your family to California when you were around 6 years old. What were you like as a child, and what was it like growing up in Orange County?
Yeah, that's crazy that people like know all that information. I was very, very shy. I was always like a very artsy, weird girl. I don't know. I would just be kind of doing my own thing like at school and stuff. I had a few friends. Wasn't super popular. I didn't really have a lot of, great high school experiences, but I just feel like I kind of embraced who I was after school and after all that growing. It was a lot of growing pains, So now I feel like I'm just embracing KELSI Davies.
What's Under the Bed is a show where I speak with horror filmmakers about their biographies, careers, and the things that shaped what scares them. Before the influence of movies, what scared you the most as a child? Was there a ghost in the attic or a monster under the bed?
I don't think there were any monsters under my bed, but I feel like paranormal, anything to do with ghosts was my biggest fear growing up, which is so funny saying that now, with everything I do. But it's just been about, really embracing that part of myself of, seeing things and just experiencing things since I was little. I would always see, like, I guess one of my first paranormal experiences I can remember is seeing my great grandfather, who I didn't know who he was. Like when I saw him, never seen a photo of him. No one ever talked about him because he died before my mom was born. So she didn't know anything about him either. And I would see him like peeking around the corner, or I would see him really briefly standing behind me in this brown suit with his glasses and a silver watch. I'd see the shimmer of the watch all the time, and I'd turn around and he'd be gone, And then later on, I learned who he was and that he's actually one of my spirit guides. So it didn't make it scary after I understood what it was. But before that, I couldn't even watch Paranormal Activity. I couldn't watch any paranormal movie without freaking out.
Many kids are first introduced to horror through children's stories like Hansel and Gretel or Three Billy Goats Gruff. Were there any fairy tales or children's stories that scared or excited you most as a child?
I really liked The Girl with the Green Ribbon. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but
I have
it's like
not.
you
What's it about?
haven't. So I was a weird child. Like I loved Tim Burton. I loved creepy things, even though it would scare me. And one of my favorite stories that I remember is the story of a girl who had a green ribbon around her neck. And she met this man and they ended up getting married and stuff. And he always wondered, like, she never told him why she had a green ribbon wrapped around her neck. And so when she was on her deathbed, she was like, you can remove the green ribbon now. And he removed it and her entire head fell off. So it's just like the whole time that green ribbon was keeping her head on her body.
Oh, interesting.
Very creepy. Yeah. I was like, a weird child. I really liked that one.
You describe yourself as a psychic medium. Would you explain the difference between being a psychic and being a medium?
Yeah, so the psychic part is so complex. I feel like it's just a very vague term for something that is so otherworldly. A lot of with what I identify me as a psychic with is like I would always dream of things before they would happen, or really good intuition, or feeling people's energy, or just knowing things about people that they never told me, like they would tell me this thing and I'd be like, I already knew that, but I always thought it was just a normal thing, or maybe I was just, I don't know, I couldn't figure out what it was really. And I feel like a lot of people who are psychic are just a lot more spiritually connected or spiritually opened up than other people. But I think every single person has the capability of, tapping into that part of themselves. And with mediumship, that's more of like, I feel like that's more spiritual from a lot of things that I've, understood as a medium, is that it's like your connection with the spirit realm and connecting people with spirit, basically. So you're just kind of the middle. But in my like experience as a psychic, I've understood there is no middle, so I've been kind of debating the term medium for a while.
Who introduced you to horror movies, and did you have any restrictions on what you were able to watch as a kid?
My mom definitely showed me a lot of horror movies, but I feel like she would just buy me like movies and I would just watch them, and she just happened to know what weird Kelsey would like. So she's the one who showed me Chucky for the first time, and I feel like she definitely is the one who showed me things. But a lot of the movies I just kind of watch on my own, or I'd have friends show me things. My parents weren't very strict about what I watched, as long as there weren't any bad scenes in it, that I shouldn't watch as a child. But they were pretty open with things I would everything I'd watch.
Black Star Canyon is located a little more than 15 miles north of your childhood home. It is considered by many locals as the most haunted location in Orange County, while others claim it may be the most haunted place in the state. Legends include Santiago Sam, a Sasquatch of the Santa Ana Mountains. There are accounts of a crying lady in white, and stories of Lorna are the earliest ghost stories from the area. Satanic rituals and occult activity have long been associated with Black Star Canyon. There have even been reports of disembodied voices along the trails and UFO sightings over it. Locals say in the 1970s, a school bus driver lost control and crashed, killing everyone on board, including the children. Individuals reported ghostly apparitions of children and little handprints on the bus windows, seemingly trying to escape. While no official evidence of this can be found, a school bus did exist. It was there for years before finally being removed in 2012. Did you hear any of the stories about Black Star Canyon or other urban legends around Orange County when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, there was a lot down there. There's just a lot of history, and I definitely went to Black Star a few times at night and have had some very weird experiences. There was this one man that we experienced, and I still to this day don't know if he was a tour guide for something or if he was like an apparition. That's what a lot of people don't know about, like when they watch that video. He like walked up to us with this lantern. He was in the dark, or no, he didn't even have a lantern. He had a shovel and he was in the dark, like pitch black. He had no light, like no flashlight or anything. He was barefoot and he was dressed like an old-fashioned like miner or something. And he walked up and like was like kind of upset. I don't know. We were like asking him a question or something, and he kind of responded like really passive and just walked by us. He wasn't even going to any cars or anything, which was weird. So that was a very strange experience. And then there was a lot of, I don't know, just weird energy out there, just weird like apparitions and orbs and, voices. You would hear things or noises that you couldn't really explain. Like even we tried to debunk it, saying, oh, maybe it's an animal, but then we would go and like there wouldn't be anything there. So I definitely had a lot of weird experiences there, as well as like San Juan Capistrano. That's an old historic town. Ortega Highway, I know there's a lot of very strange occurrences out there, and like bodies found. I remember there would always be police reports of bodies being found out there, and no one knows why it's like such a popular spot for dumping bodies and stuff like that.
What were you like in high school, and how much of your high school experience informs who you are today?
I was very, very shy. I think I was just very artsy and very in my own little world. And I think that I've just always been so beyond creative, which is, one of the best things about me, I think, is just my creativity. And I would not even know what to do with it. I was very, very socially awkward. I couldn't even look people in the eyes when I would speak. I had a lot of issues with that. But I feel like high school definitely shaped me as a person, and it really humbled me in a lot of different ways. And I feel like as you grow and as you learn, it's like it's a very people are like, oh, high school goes by in a flash, but it was a very important part of my growth, because that's when your brain's like developing still, is like all through school, and when you learn social interactions and things like that. I think I learned a lot about like what not to be like. A lot of girls were not very nice to me, guys either. So I learned like how not to treat people, and I don't know, how to stand my ground.
In an age of bullies, active shooter drills, and COVID lockdowns, do you think horror movies can provide catharsis for teenagers trying to cope with these real life fears?
I don't know. I feel like it depends really. I think that there is a lot of violence out there, but there always has been too. It just depends on the person and how they take things and stuff like that. I think it makes people more aware, but also it does instill, unnecessary fear or anxiety in us for sure. But then again, it is how people take it themselves. If they take it as entertainment or if they take it on another level, that's just, I don't know, that's just something that there needs to be a balance for, and that's hard to find.
You began your career as a competitive gymnast, and your father was your coach. This led to becoming a professional dancer and dance teacher, and then your interest in acting began at 18. You were even featured on the cover of Center Stage magazine at one point. As a singer, you've released the singles Heartbeats, Done, Darker, and September 10th. What draws you to make music, and do you believe more songs have been written about love, lust, or heartbreak?
Yeah, I feel like it's all based on personal experiences and just things that people can relate to and things that can help people as well. I think there's definitely a big variety of songs out there. I feel like songs have definitely taken a turn, but there is good genres of music that I really, really, value the lyrics too, and I really love the meaning behind them. But I do feel like there's some unnecessary songs that are just like, I don't know, they're kind of aggressive, and you're like, okay, like I get it. You like that girl's butt or whatever, stuff like that. But I do think that I don't know. I think music's so important, and the vibrations behind music is just so important in our universe. So it is really, I've always thought that the people like should I've always thought that people should pay attention to the music that they listen to, because subconsciously we do react to what vibrations we're being fed. So it's like the music that you listen to, make sure it's high vibrating, it's good music, it's stuff that you value and stuff that you feel like could really help you with like the lyrics and stuff. So I think that's something to pay attention to.
Um, would you tell me the story behind your single September 10th?
Yeah. So I had a childhood best friend, and this is something that a lot of people can relate to. You grow apart and things happen, and this song was about like the night of my birthday is when this person showed their true colors to me, and it was really, really, really hard for me because this was someone I knew half of my life for 12 years that was just turned into a totally different person. We had outgrown each other. And on the night of my birthday, they chose to, on that night, just kind of just go fire on me. And I don't know, it really affected me, and I wanted to make a song like based on that experience, but based on like finding the light from it and transmuting that dark energy into something lighter so that I was able to move on and help other people who have gone through something similar or with, similar events. I found out like a lot of people have traumatic birthdays, and I'm like, that really sucks because that's the one day of the year that's about you, and it shouldn't be something that you dwell on or something you have bad memories with. So I wanted to create new memories with doing a piece of art that turned out so beautifully. And Kira Gardner did the music video. Her dad does all the Chucky dolls for the movies and stuff. And she's put her foot into directing, and she did an amazing job.
You launched a YouTube channel with your friend Maddie Kelly in 2016 called Maddie and Kelsey, where you would explore haunted locations, post pranks, and do challenges. Your schedule include Mayhem Mondays, Whatever Wednesdays, and Freaky Fridays. And the two of you parted to do your own projects, but joined up more recently for the podcast Intoxicated. Would you tell me about the podcast, and how do you find the time with the rest of your projects?
Yeah, so I started Intoxicated. It was just a really, really fun thing. I'd never done a podcast before, so I wanted to just do something that was fun and different, and something where I can just talk about spiritual things and conspiracies and have people listen to, different stories and learn new things. And it was a really, really great time. I had a good time doing it, and I had so many guests, and it really, really did well. And then acting came in, and I started doing a lot of acting projects. And so I had to kind of stop doing that just because I didn't have time or room for it anymore. But it was a really great journey.
You continue to explore the paranormal on your own with your YouTube channel, and with advice from a friend, you crossed over onto TikTok. Your first post of a lip sync video in clown makeup was uploaded on June 6th, 2019. It was a Thursday. Do you remember your first post that went viral?
I can't remember. I think it might have been like something that happened at Starbucks. It didn't even have anything to do with my content. It was just something really gross that happened at Starbucks, where the Starbucks lady, I got like a mocha something with with no whipped cream on it, and she handed it to me, or was about to, and I was like, oh, like, can I get no whipped cream? And I saw her go in the corner and scoop it out with her hand, and I was
Oh,
just like,
no.
this was during COVID too. So I was just dumbfounded that I watched that happen. And so I made like a TikTok about it because what the heck? Like, I've never seen any like thing like that happen. And I think that's the first thing that kind of went viral. And I was just the Starbucks Karen for a while.
Things really took off when you purchased a haunted doll from Fire Torch Findings and began your partnership with Lola. I had the privilege of meeting her in person. Would you tell me about Lola, and does she ever not like people she meets?
She's actually warned me about certain people and friends that, and then it turned out like she was right, which is really, really interesting. But I don't know, it's been crazy. I feel like there's just so much energy with her spirit. I feel like she's part of like my spirit team or family or something, because I just don't think it's a coincidence that when I got Lola, everything just kind of blew up, It's just really, really interesting. I I definitely think she has like a power that is unlike just otherworldly for sure. I don't know if you felt it when you held her, anything like that.
Um, I don't know. I'm not. I'm a little bit of a skeptic, so I don't exactly understand everything that no, I'm a bit of a, when it comes to ghost stuff, I am a bit of a, or spirit stuff. I am a little skeptic, but I mean, I can understand the fascination of it, and I am fascinated myself of it. With Lola, I did think I felt something, but it was more of, I hope I don't drop her so
Oh,
she doesn't hate me.
that's valid.
um you've posted so many paranormal adventures from around the world on your channel. You've even had some experiences with celebrity guests and friends like Kira Gardner, who you mentioned earlier, where Lola was able to meet Chucky. You and I share something in common. We both have participated in a ghost investigation at the Stanley Hotel, and we each experienced paranormal activity while there. Would you tell me about that? And do you think the Stanley is haunted?
Yes, the Stanley Hotel is absolutely haunted. I've had many bizarre experiences there. Um, I remember there was this one time I went, I don't think I told you about this when we met, but or maybe I did, I can't remember, but I was really, really sick. Like I had never been so sick. I got something and I was just it was really bad. Like I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital, but I had booked the Stanley for the night. And so I tried to push through it, you know, and I was very feverish, had like a really high grade fever. And I was laying in bed and I was kind of half awake, half asleep, just that weird, I don't know what to call it, but there was like this doctor that came in, or he referred to himself as a doctor, but he was old school. Like he had this old briefcase with him, the headlight that doctors don't wear. And because I was just so out of it, I just kind of accepted it. I was like, oh, the doctor's here, you know. I was just kind of like letting the doctor come in. And there was this lady that was sitting on a chair at the corner of the room in this old dress. And for some reason, I just like I accepted it, and I was just laying there like about to get checked out by this doctor. And then I kind of got out of it and I was like, what was that? That was just bizarre. So that was a really weird experience I had. We had like flashlights going on and off in there. There was a little girl, I think, can't remember what her name was, the little girl.
Yeah, I know her. I'm trying to remember her name, but
Was it Lily or something? I can't
it
remember.
I
Or Lucy.
Lucy. That's
Lucy.
it, Lucy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucy was like turning our flashlight on and off and stuff. And we had just, it was crazy. It's definitely very, very haunted.
Yeah, I mentioned this story to you when we met, but when we went to the Stanley Hotel, we did a ghost investigation in the music hall, and when we went under there, it was we had been waiting for a while, but me, my father, and the guy we were with, who had all the ghost hunting stuff, um, all heard a rock being skipped through the hallway and hit the door. And I I have the theory that it was Lucy, but I don't know if anybody else had that theory. Um, and we were able to recreate it, and it sounded almost exact to what we heard, where we just skipped a rock, and it
Yeah,
was pretty incredibly weird and incredible.
right. Yeah, like unexplainable.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
One of your scariest moments is when you were almost possessed. Would you tell me about what had happened and what are the scariest entities a person can encounter?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about possession. Like I was kind of skeptical about it, you know, I just didn't really understand it. Um, and I was at a very low vibration that time in my life. I was dealing with depression, anxiety, just very low vibrating. And I went into the gates of hell and we brought three Dybbuk boxes. And two of them we opened. One of them kind of opened by itself. So that was just not smart. I think we were testing our limits back then, you know, because even though we know it's real and I've had experiences, you know, there's a sense of that skepticism, like you want to prove it, you know, you're like so after that valid proof of it. And so I think we were just doing that. And then there was one of the boxes, we opened it and there were human teeth inside. And for some reason, like you literally watched me on camera, something kind of made me grab the tooth. Like it was just weird. It's like your body, something takes over you. And so I grabbed the tooth and I like look at it and I started shaking. I drop it and I don't know. It was bizarre. It was almost like I kept blacking out and coming back in and like there's bits and pieces I don't remember of it, but I started dry heaving. And that's one of the red flags, is like your body is trying to get this energy out. And so I started dry heaving and sweating profusely. It was like 40 degrees outside in New Jersey in the winter. And I had to take off one of my sweatshirts because I was sweating. It was like really, really intense. And then we went up the hill, and my friend thankfully had crystals and sage and, protection. So she did all that. And like, it was bizarre. One of my friends, Chris, she handed me a crystal, and I held it for a minute, and I handed it back to her, and the crystal was like burning hot. And she was like, dude, this crystal's like really hot. That's bizarre. And so I think after all that is when I really started getting into like, okay, protection. I need to protect myself, because there are negative things. The yin and yang, that's like my nails are painted with yin and yang on it. The dark versus, or not even dark versus light, it's just dark and light. That's just what our world is. There's dark and light. And so I had to really understand that and know that the light is more powerful than the dark. Like, it just is. And so I think that really helped me understand that part more. And so I'm able to kind of block things out. I'll still see things if I am anxious or having any anxiety, is usually when I see the bad things. And I think that's because I'm vibrating lower. But if I'm like at a good vibration, I usually see the more positive things, which is really interesting.
Some people aren't believers in the spiritual realm. How do you approach the subject of spirits with skeptics?
I just say it's like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't bother me, because we're all just, every single person is living in a completely different reality. And so I feel like if you're skeptical, respect those who aren't, or respect those who are open to it, because like, I'll respect you being, not open to it, but if you respect me being open to it, it's just all about mutual respect. And I feel like some people just go above and beyond to ridicule those who believe in it, but it's like, why? Like, why are you so concerned about that? It doesn't, like, I don't let it bother me, just because I understand people a lot more now than I did before. And it's just like, don't fight back. I just don't fight anymore. I'm just like, okay, you don't believe, that's okay. Like, as if you're skeptical, that's awesome, but like, keep an open mind a little bit, because you never know.
Yeah. Is there a paranormal movie that comes close to how things really are?
Um, that's a really good question. Not one that I can like think of at the top of my head right now. I've heard Ghost Whisperer. I think that's a show or something. I've heard that's very close to it. I'm playing this video game actually. It's called Alan Wake
Oh, I
2.
know that movie. Yeah, not that movie, that game. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
been playing it, and it's like really interesting. Like, from things that I've seen and experienced, not quite on that level, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the things is very like the loops he goes in and things like that. For anyone who's played that game, it's pretty interesting. It actually gives me flashbacks of things sometimes, or like the visions they randomly get, or like
Mm-hmm.
how they depict the visions in the game, and how they're very vague, but they're almost like transparent, but they're still there, is very, very close to like what I've experienced in a visual way.
Interesting. I,
Yeah.
I would have never expected Alan Wake.
Right? Yeah, that was like, that game's freaky though. Like, that one's like on another level.
Yeah. Um, as I said in the introduction, we recently met on set. Rem is a horror short film directed by Blair Bathory, another content creator with an interest in hauntings and everything spooky. She covers a lot of urban legends, and in fact, Rem is based on one. How did you get involved with the project?
Yeah, so Blair reached out to me. This was like it was just divinely led. She reached out to me through Instagram. We'd been following each other for a while. I didn't even know she directed or did any of this, which is so cool. I just followed her and she followed me because we were both into the spooky stuff. And this all just it's just crazy how everything happened and how everything came together. And I'm really excited for this project. And we're hoping it can turn into something even bigger eventually. So I'm just crossing my fingers.
Um, I understand Blair joined you on a recent ghost investigation. Where did you investigate and how did it go?
Blair has not yet. So we're
Oh,
going
really?
to though. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna
I
plan
see. I
it.
see.
Yeah, we're planning on it, but we haven't done a full investigation. I'm actually
I
doing
see.
one with Emma Ramey um this not this month. Is it this month? Yeah, the end of this month. She's going to be doing one with me and she wants to do more. So we're going to do some, which is really cool. I think Blair's going to come out here with maybe Briscoe and other people and whoever wants to come do a ghost hunt. I think that they're going to come in January or something. They were talking about it. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um, The origins of tarot cards can be traced back to between the years 1430 and 1450 in various parts of Europe. Initially, these cards were not used for divination, but rather for playing a group of games known as tarot, tarot, or tarocchi games. These decks were hand painted and featured elaborate artwork, making them luxury items for the wealthy. The Visconti Sforza is one of the most ancient tarot decks. It wasn't until the late 18th century when tarot cards began to be widely used for divination and esoteric purposes. The most significant figure in this transformation was the French occultist Antoine Cour de Zebula. He theorized the cards had ancient wisdom, and from this period onwards, they've become increasingly associated with mysticism, the occult, and fortune telling. I know little about tarot cards, but I often thought they worked like a medieval projective psychological Rorschach test. I understand you've been designing a tarot deck. Would you explain how tarot cards work and when can we see yours?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I think I have like 10 cards to go, but I'm hand designing every single card and making it kind of based off the original tarot pictures because they do represent the cards very well, but I'm kind of doing a twist of my own on them. So it's going to be really cool and I'm really excited. Um I I don't know, the way that they work is a lot to do with your intuition and a lot to do with just like tapping into that energy. It kind of gives you like the best way I can explain for me is it gives me kind of like a way to because sometimes my visions are so vague and so all over the place. It kind of gives me a timeline to be like, okay, I understand. It kind of helps me um go through the cards like in a different way, but each card represents something different and I don't know, it can do a lot. Like even the cards flipped upside down are different than when they're right side up. So it's the way that the cards are pulled out or however you want to do them. I do a shuffle where they like fly out of the deck, which is really cool. So they kind of spin and they'll land a certain way and I'm able to just like give readings and every reading has just been so divinely like accurate. It's just so interesting. I've had a lot of really intense readings with people where they'll still message me like years later and be like, that reading you gave me changed my life. And it's beautiful.
You have many tattoos, and some of them are of numbers. Which is your first and last tattoo, and what's the significance of the numbers?
Yeah, so my first tattoo was this one, and this was it's to explain it, it's like there's like sacred geometry in our universe, and it's a lot of geometrical shapes that I've had dreams about since I was young, and until I like reached enlightenment and really understood, how everything in the world is made up of this sacred geometry. it's just something so divine that I've experienced since I was young. And I got this tattoo before I even understood its meaning, but I knew it was something spiritual. So I got that one. And then I got this one, and it's based on my enlightenment. This was my last one I just got. And it's off of me reaching enlightenment in Costa Rica. And it was the most intense, terrifying, beautiful, yet magical things I've ever experienced in my entire life. And it completely changed me as a person. And I was reborn that day. So this tattoo means a lot to me. Yeah.
Do you prefer fast zombies or slow zombies?
Definitely slow zombies. Unless you're like playing a video game and there's the fast ones, they're like fun to kill, you know, but in real life, definitely the slow ones.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you the single most important thing about the paranormal that is on everyone's mind. Are spirits watching us when we're in the shower?
They are everywhere all the time. Yes,
Okay.
but it's like it depends, okay? It depends. If they're a lower vibration and they're kind of with the earth realm vibration more, then they kind of acknowledge you. Like I've had some weird creepy things happen when I'm in the shower with creepy men that are
Oh,
spirits.
how great.
Yeah, it's really fun. I don't close my eyes in the shower. That's something that my family knows about me. Like I talk about it. I'm like, I cannot close my eyes in the shower. Um, but I think that with like you know, your spirit guides and stuff and other things, like they're around all the time. It's kind of like a dog or cat. They just don't really acknowledge that you're doing that. They're just like, oh, it's nature, you know. So it depends, but yes.
This final question is a Sophie's choice. Two must die so that one may live. The movies of Jim Carrey, the original Spyro the Dragon game from PlayStation, or the film The Pursuit of Happiness. Two must die so that one may live.
You must die so one. Oh my gosh. They're all so dear to my heart. Let's see. Okay, Pursuit of Happiness can die, which is so hard for me to say because I love that movie. Um, dang, I guess Spyro's gotta go. Spyro's gotta go because Jim Carrey is he's yeah, I love him. He's a very awoken person, like in a spiritual way. He's very awoken and hilarious, and yeah, love that
Fair
guy.
enough. Is there anything you want to ask me before we're done?
Um, have you had any more paranormal experiences since I talked to you?
Not since we've spoken. I've kind of tried to the so an ex I've told you this and my father has explained it too, but when we ghost hunted in that graveyard, ever since my dad's experience with that, I kind of have avoided it. Uh
Got you.
like specifically I've been trying to push like stuff that could cause that kind of thing, or that people have said, hey, you might not want to do that if you don't want this or that. I've specifically been like, oh, okay, no, I'm good.
Set your boundaries. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. um where can people find you?
Yeah, I have YouTube. It's just KELSI Davies, TikTok. I guess it's X now, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. Instagram, it's all KELSI Davies with two I's and two S's. KELSIIDAVIESS.
Awesome, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for
I
having me.